Part 26. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wangshi-san. Chapter 251. When Yang Tian woke up, it was already the third night. He just felt comfortable all over, and his stomach was already very hungry. Well, I actually slept for 3 days and 2 nights. Yang Tian took out his phone and looked at it, slightly surprised. Immediately, he called Huang Mao to come out. The two of them had a midnight snack at a street stall just like before. Of course, for Yang Tian, this was not a midnight snack, but a dinner. He had been hungry for a long time, so he naturally devoured it. While chatting, Yang Tian heard from Huang Mao that Taixu had been maintained again since the morning of November 28. He was taken aback, and cold sweat suddenly broke out all over his body. You know, he hacked the tiger demon to death on the 27th and immediately went offline to sleep. So close. If there was one more day and he was halfway through the system maintenance, then all his 10 days of hard work would be in vain. Tisk tisk, I have to admit that sometimes luck is really more important than hard work. Yang Tian sighed with emotion. Fortunately, Goddess Luck was by his side this time. What have you been doing lately? You're only level 52, but I'm already level 57. Huang Mao scolded with a smile. Yang Tian chuckled secretly. Levels are nothing. I have obtained the heart of the sacred tree. At this stage, that is invincible combat power. Did you know? Now there is another event called Siege Order. This is a cyclic event. The event starts every Sunday, Huang Mao said. Yang Tian shook his head blankly. He had been sleeping these past few days, so of course he didn't know. Starting from December 1st, players who farm monsters have a chance of getting a siege token. This kind of thing can only be used by the guild leader. At the same time, every Sunday, the guild leader can use the siege token to challenge other guilds. The winner will have a 100% increase in experience gained within a week, and the loser will have the level of all members reduced by 1 level, Huang Mao said. Yang Tian had already taken out his mobile phone and logged into the official website of Taixu to check the activity content. It turns out that the siege token can only be used once a day. The event starts every Sunday, which means it can only be used once a week. Of course, you can only actively challenge once, and there is no limit to the number of times you can be challenged. The person being challenged must accept it for the first time. For example, Suanj uses the siege token to challenge the angry god on behalf of the demon god, and the angry god must accept it. After the end, Xinyue Aishi challenged the angry god one after another. The angry god had the right to refuse, but of course he could also accept it. The winner will double the amount of experience gained within a week and continue to win with the same effect. If you lose, the level of all players will drop by 1 level. If you lose consecutively, the level will continue to drop. In fact, there is no need for weak guilds to panic. The worst case scenario is that all members will be reduced by 1 level within a week. After the first time is over, you can refuse if you are challenged in the future. After the siege token effect is activated, the members of both guilds will be transported to a special map, Desert Battlefield. Both sides have 1,000 troops. No matter how big a guild is, it can only send 1,000 people to fight. This is the limit of the event. If the guild has less than 1,000 members and does not participate in the event, it cannot challenge or be challenged. In the Desert Battlefield, there are 2 castles, 1,000 yards apart, facing each other. A guild occupies a castle with 2 cannons and 10 crossbows. These external forces can only be used to defend the city, but cannot be dragged out to attack the city. There are crystals in both castles. Blow down the enemy's city gate, invade the army, and destroy the crystal, which is considered a victory. In addition, if a player dies in the desert battlefield, he will not lose level and can be resurrected indefinitely. Of course, resurrection has a cooling time. If a level 50 player dies in battle, he will be revived in 50 seconds. If a level 55 player dies in battle, he will be resurrected in 55 seconds. Yang Tian put his phone back in his pocket, raised his head and took a sip of beer, saying, "Huang Mao, please don't be impulsive during this event." Huang Mao nodded, "Well, I won't go to war with the devil until the critical moment." Yang Tian didn't say any more, and just swept away the dishes on the table. Check out, break up with Huang Mao and leave. The next day, December 1st, 2130 Friday. Taigzu was launched on August 8 of the same year. This is the 4th month. Nowadays, most players have reached level 50, and the pace is still quite fast. The server started at 8 o'clock sharp, and Yang Tian came online early. With a flash of white light, Yang Tian came to the forest of the world again, under the sacred tree. Regardless of whether it was useful or not, Yang Tian first set up a teleportation array, and then teleported away to the White Bear mountain ridge. Haha, you three have already reached level 60, Yang Tian looked at Xiao Jin and the others and smiled happily. You know, even God's left hand is only level 59, and Xiao Jin and the others are already one step ahead. Still, where have you been these past few days? We are here to farm monsters, and we have very little experience. Xian Yuan Longer rolled his eyes at Yang Tian. Yang Tian nodded secretly. They were already level 60. If they were to level 60 elites again, they would not have much experience. However, level 60 elites have more experience than level 79 high-level monsters. In other words, if you want more experience, you can only go to level 80 elite monster groups. Well, I'll refresh it first and take you to the new map later, Yang Tian said as he swallowed the heart of the sacred tree. In an instant, his spirit surged by 10,000, which is 100,000 MP. Yang Tian started to kill monsters. In just half a day, his own experience did not increase much, but the heart of the divine tree reached the maximum level of 10. Yang Tian's spirit soared by 100,000, that is, 1 million MP. In addition, 10% of the mana is restored every second. What a concept! It means that he will basically never lack mana in the future. Now he uses the extreme summon to summon 10 teams of undead, the number has exceeded 600. And all of them are level 52 undead, at least high-level monsters. To maintain the existence of these undead, he consumes more than 30,000 mana per second. If there is no heart of the divine tree, he can only hold on for more than 10 seconds. But with the heart of the divine tree, his MP add 1 million, 10% is restored every second. Completely exceeds the consumption. He will never lack mana in the future. Now my mana is already quite explosive, and the mana recovery effect is excellent. I don't need energy gems anymore, Yang Tian laughed secretly. Now he has 10 gem slots, 1 level 50 royal energy gem, 1 level 50 royal dark gem, and 8 level 50 high level energy gems. He kept the royal dark gem, and the other 9 energy gems were all put on the auction house. Then, he bought 9 level 50 high level dark gems in seconds. Muddy Water, ID. Level 52. HP, 120,000. MP, 1.2 million, recover 120,000 mana per second. Asterisk magic attack, 150,000. Dark power 3100. Dark resistance 5700, light, fire, and ice resistance 1500. Armor penetration 500. Steel guard 650, magic guard 600. Absolute crit damage, 280%. Skill points, 24. Correction of the bug of the heart of the sacred tree, spirit add 10,000, restore 1% of mana per second. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 252. In Taigzu, no one dares to say that the Necromancer is not strong. However, the Necromancer consumes too much mana, and most people can't control it. After having fun, they delete their accounts and start over. Only after reaching level 120, the Necromancer has sufficient mana and excellent mana recovery effect, and it will become very scary. You know, the player who gathers souls is comparable to a spirit beast, and will automatically recover blood and mana every second. In the future, if you further ascend to immortality, become a saint, and become a god, it will definitely be more terrible. However, few necromancers can hold on to level 120, because the early stage is too painful. And even if they reach level 120, ordinary people don't have blood and can't gather spirits. And Yang Tian, now there is no shortage of mana in the early stage, so he must be stronger. He is now level 52, and all the undead under his command are high-level monsters above level 52. The ordinary monsters in the past, such as skeleton warriors, etc., although they have dark attributes, they are not dark strong, have no armor penetration, and have no critical damage. These attributes, they will bless as much as Yang Tian has. But now they have become high-level monsters, and they already have some dark power, armor penetration, and critical strike attributes. If they continue to bless Yang Tian's attributes, it will definitely be more explosive. How is Yang Tian stronger than them? Only basic attack power. Yang Tian now has 150,000 basic magic attack. And the basic attack power of the 52 level high-level undead is barely 6,000 points, which is still a very large gap. However, after Yang Tian reached level 80, all the undead under his command were elite monsters above level 80. Their basic attack power has become stronger, dark power, armor penetration, and critical strike attributes have become stronger, and if they continue to bless Yang Tian's attributes, how terrifying it is. Obviously, the later the undead are, the stronger they are. Yang Tian is also looking forward to the arrival of that day, waving his hand and breaking the million-strong army. Extreme summoning. Yang Tian waved his hand and set up 10 huge summoning arrays in front of him. Immediately, a black army of undead with a number of more than 600 appeared. Attack, Yang Tian gave an order, and the whole army roared, and the white bears were killed instantly. Now, every undead, with his attribute enhancement, can kill the white bears instantly. Although, the white bears can also kill them instantly. But my 600-man army, are you afraid of you? In a flash, hundreds of white bears around were all killed, and they continued to refresh and be killed. Cool. Yang Tian had never been so happy before. In the past, he cared about the consumption of mana and the efficiency of mana recovery, and he played very poorly. Now, he doesn't need to worry about mana. No matter how many undead there are, they can all be summoned, continue to exist, and permanently burst out the output. After a wave of fun, Yang Tian dispersed the undead army, and then took back Xiao Jin and the other two, and set off to a higher level map. Yang Tian has a set of agility gems, which is faster than Xiao Lei. But he was too lazy to run by himself, so he summoned Xiao Lei to ride on him and ran all the way. In less than an hour, Yang Tian came to a valley where there were countless huge tents and little smoke from cooking. There are some minotaurs patrolling the periphery. The minotaurs are 2.2 meters tall, with a bull's head and a human body. Most of them have yellow skin and are tall, strong, and sturdy. They are naked from the waist up, with a silver belt tied around their waists and black trousers on their lower body. In terms of dressing, they are quite individual. Each of them carries a huge axe, and while walking around, they scan the surroundings with cold eyes. If there is an invasion by foreign enemies, they will probably rush up at the first time. Minotaur Guard, Elite Monster. Level 80. HP, 880,000. Basic Physical Attack, 50,000. Non-Attribute Attack. 4 Resistances 1,500. Armor Penetration 800. Dual Guard 500. Skills, Heavy Attack, Wild Collision, Parry, Powerful Sweep. After level 80, the elite is no longer a boss, but a monster. Yang Tian waved his hand and summoned 10 teams of undead, rushing up in a mighty manner. Roar. Enemy invasion, alert, the Minotaurs could actually speak, and they roared. Immediately, a large number of Minotaur guards rushed out with giant axes in hand, creating billowing dust on the ground, and faced the army of undead. Armor-piercing arrows. Dark fireballs. 280-0090. 295-0320. Among them, the skeleton mages and skeleton archers, the 2 teams of undead back row, added up to nearly 200. They focused their fire at the same time, shooting a rain of arrows and fireballs, and instantly killed all the Minotaur guards. Haha, go for dark power, it's really strong. Yang Tian laughed loudly. In the past, he was extremely short of mana, so he could only stack mana with all his strength and had to give up dark power. But now he is no longer short of mana, and he mainly stacks dark power, directly stacking dark power to 3,100 points, which is 32 times the combat power. Although the Tauren Guard has 1,500 points of dark resistance, Yang Tian still has 1,600 points of dark strength, which is 17 times the combat power. The undead army adds this combat power, armor penetration, true damage, plus 2.8 times crit. How much damage? Dark Sea of Fire. Yang Tian waved his hand again, and the next moment, most of the Tauren tribe was covered by the Dark Sea of Fire. The black fire burned fiercely, and the smoke and dust rolled. The tribe was filled with smoke and miasma. I saw those huge tents quickly disintegrated in the flames, and countless Tauren rushed out from them, roaring and roaring in the flames. Yang Tian is a LV-20 Dark Sea of Fire, covering hundreds of yards, Sea of Fire group attack, 1% magic damage, dark attribute attack. Now a LV-20 skill can easily do 10 times the damage. And the LV-20 Dark Sea of Fire only has 1% damage, but it is a group attack. A super large-scale group attack. The burn damage of the Sea of Fire has nothing to do with the skill level. Even the LV-100 Sea of Fire only has 1% magic group attack, and the improvement is the range. 71,400. 71,400. 71,400. Yang Tian's basic magic attack is too high, and the Dark Sea of Fire eats dark power, magic penetration, and critical strikes. Yang Tian threw a Dark Sea of Fire, causing almost all the Tauren to lose 70,000 plus blood per second. In more than 10 seconds, they can all be burned to death. This is really terrible. Guys, come out and get some experience. Yang Tian waved his hand and summoned Xiaojian, Xianyuan Long and Alice. Humph, I'll do it myself. Xianyuan Long snorted coldly, holding a sword and stepping on the fire to move forward, and in an instant he faced a dozen Minotaur guards. Heavy attack. Xianyuan Long's combat power was off the charts, and he cut a Minotaur guard in half with one sword. At the same time, 2 Minotaur guards roared, raised their giant axes and chopped them down, also heavy attacks, and the 2 of them chopped a total of 1 million damage. Xianyuan Longer lost 2/3 of his blood, and his face was pale. She didn't expect that a Minotaur guard would have such a strong combat power. She didn't know that the Minotaur guard was a level 80 elite. It has a basic physical attack of 50,000, no attribute attack, and although there is no attribute amplification, it will not be targeted by the enemy's attribute resistance to reduce damage. 800 points of armor penetration. At this stage, except for shield warriors, it is basically true damage. It is normal for a skill of the Tauren Guard to release 500,000 true damage. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, Ba Wangshi-san. Chapter 253. Luckily it was Xianyuan longer. She is a level 60 lord, and now her HP has exceeded 1.5 million. If it were a player, who could withstand it except for those top tanks? Even the great gods with fighting spirit could not withstand it. At present, even if the great gods led a group, they would not dare to kill the level 80 elite monster group. The great gods have explosive combat power, plus the fighting spirit amplification, and it is no problem to kill the Minotaur guard in seconds. But the Minotaur guard can also kill them in seconds with a backhand. Even the top elemental mages can't burn much blood of the Minotaur guard when they use the Sea of Fire. On the current player side, the basic attack power of the top great gods is only about 30,000, and the extreme fire power is 2,150 points. Burning the Minotaur guard will double the damage by 7.5 times, and the magic penetration will burn out the real damage, which is 5 times the critical strike. This is a basic combat power of 1 million. Any skill can deal tens of millions of damage and easily kill the Minotaur guard in seconds. But the Sea of Fire only does 10,000 damage per second. You need to burn for more than 80 seconds to burn the Minotaur guard to death. But, is the Minotaur so stupid that he will stand still and let you burn? Obviously impossible. Even the top mages can't burn it, let alone ordinary mage players, because their Sea of Fire has almost no damage. The heart of the divine tree increases 100,000 spirits. Because the effect of the Dragon Empire badge is actually 110,000 spirits and 1.1 million MP. Because of the magic conversion, Yang Tian's basic magic attack soared by 110,000. In addition, Yang Tian is a spiritual level bloodline, and various factors make Yang Tian's basic magic attack as high as 150,000. This is far beyond the current players. Bone Shield. Seeing Xianyuan Longer's residual blood, Yang Tian's eyes were stern, and he immediately waved his hand to put a layer of white bone shield on the former. Today, his bone shield is still LV30, because he didn't dare to resist the tiger monster for more than 10 days before. If he doesn't resist, the bone shield will never be upgraded. The LV30 bone shield is 30 times the life of the basic magic attack. After Xianyuan Longer put on the bone shield, it was equivalent to adding 4.5 million lives for nothing. Come back quickly, Yang Tian shouted. Xianyuan Longer turned around and took a step forward. The Minotaur guards behind him also caught up and raised their giant axes to chop fiercely, but only the bone shield lost blood, and Xianyuan Longer did not lose a drop of blood. Long-range concentrated fire, Yang Tian gave an order. Hearing this, nearly 200 skeleton mages and skeleton archers attacked frantically, instantly killing the Minotaur guards chasing behind Xianyuan Longer. Xianyuan Longer came back in a panic, panting, her pretty face was pale, her pearly teeth bit her lips lightly, and she stared at Yang Tian with an inexplicable look. Be good, it's okay. Yang Tian's heart moved and comforted her. Under normal circumstances, Xianyuan Longer would immediately roll her eyes, but now she nodded meekly, her pretty face flushed. Don't be so impulsive in the future. I said I would protect you, but if you force yourself to die, I will also worry. Yang Tian pouted and scolded. He had to scold her. If this little girl is still so impulsive in the future, she will die sooner or later. And she only has one life, and the copy mirror does not count. If she dies in the wild, she will really die. Yang Tian could not accept that situation no matter what. I know, I will not be impulsive in the future and will not make everyone worry. Xianyuan Longer lowered her head and whispered. Yang Tian nodded and smiled, and then he was satisfied. At this time, the undead army had already stepped on the fire and fought with the Minotaurs. After one wave, there were only the last 3 Minotaurs left in the entire Minotaur tribe. 2 white Minotaurs and 1 black Minotaur. 2 leaders and 1 lord. Tauren Guardian, boss. Level 85. HP, 1.8 million. Basic physical attack, 60,000. Non-attribute attack. 4 resistances 3000. Armor break 0. Dual guard 1600. Skills, shield bash, iron wall, charge. Passive, guard. Tauren leader, Lord boss. Level 85. HP, 5 million. Basic physical attack, 100,000. Non-attribute attack. 4 resistances 4500. Armor break 1500. Dual guard 2500. Skills, heavy bash, wild charge, powerful sweep, earth shattering. Passive, earthquake. The white Tauren are over 3 meters tall, all white, and look very noble. They hold huge shields, and look like shield warriors. The black Tauren are over 5 meters tall, all black, with a majestic body and sturdy limbs, and look extremely powerful. It holds a huge mace, and looks like a berserker. It can only look like. Because Yang Tian's level was not high enough, even with the Eye of Truth, all he could see were question marks, and he couldn't see through their attributes at all. Of course, Yang Tian had a lot of experience, so he could probably tell that they were 2 leaders and 1 lord. At the moment, the undead army had surrounded the 3 of them, attacking them frantically, but they couldn't break their defenses at all. And they, especially the Black Minotaur, could kill large swathes of undead in seconds by causing an earthquake with a casual blow. Corpse explosion. Yang Tian knew that the undead army had no power, so he snapped his fingers decisively while there were still about 300 undead left. Bang bang bang. All the undead exploded, causing a sky-high fire curtain and billowing black smoke. 210-60342. 210-60342. 450,020. 3 consecutive damages floated out, and the gap between them was so huge. The power of corpse explosion depends on the number of undeads. 1 will double it. 300 will double it. Corpse explosion is the most powerful skill of the Necromancer, no doubt about it. No, there is another skill that may surpass it, which is damage deepening. Damage deepening is a skill that Yang Tian often uses. Now he has practiced it to LV20, doubling the damage. If he had dealt 100 million damage before using damage deepening, it will be 200 million, taking dark power, magic penetration, and critical strike. If Yang Tian's dark power exceeds the opponent's dark resistance, and magic penetration exceeds the opponent's magic protection, then the damage dealt will be more than 200 million. On the contrary, if Yang Tian's dark power is not as good as the opponent's dark resistance, and magic penetration is not as good as the opponent's magic protection, then the damage of damage deepening will be weakened, and even far less than the previous damage. At that moment, Yang Tian blew up a corpse explosion, causing more than 20 million damage to the 2 white minotaurs, killing them instantly. However, he only caused more than 450,000 damage to the Black Minotaur. The Black Minotaur's attributes were too high, and Yang Tian's damage reduction was too severe, so he couldn't deal any damage. The damage deepened. Yang Tian decisively snapped his fingers again, causing the damage on the Black Minotaur to increase again. 900,040. Huh? What's going on? Looking at the damage, Yang Tian was shocked. Logically speaking, his dark power is not as good as the Black Minotaur's dark resistance, and his magic penetration is not as good as its magic protection. He should be infinitely reduced in damage. It would be good to be able to deal a few thousand points of damage. Could it be that the damage deepening has been revised to double the fixed damage? Not taking dark power, magic penetration, and critical strike, Yang Tian frowned. You know, Taigzu is often revised, and occasionally some attributes, skill characteristics, and skill percentages will be adjusted accordingly. In the previous life, in the later stage of Taigzu, the damage deepening was double the fixed damage, not affected by dark power, etc. Has it been revised now? Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 254. It must have been revised, otherwise it wouldn't be like this. Yang Tian was sure in his heart, and planned to go to the official website to take a closer look after the battle. At this time, Yang Tian began to use skills to attack the Black Minotaur, but found that he could not break the defense. This is normal. Even if it was a 300-fold corpse explosion, it could only blow out a little blood. How could other skills break the defense? Boss, watch me. Xiao Jin roared, rushed up, and slashed the Black Minotaur with a sword. 900,000. Huge damage emerged, plus Yang Tian's previous corpse explosion and damage deepened damage. The Black Minotaur's life was instantly reduced to half. Moreover, Xiao Jin's sword was just a flat cut. Xiao Jin and Yang Tian are both born with attributes. However, Yang Tian was born with dark attributes. Xiao Jin was born with light attributes. They attack small monsters with a strong combat power bonus. On the contrary, if they attack high resistance boss, they will be greatly reduced in damage. Black Minotaur, 4 resistances are 4,500 points. Yang Tian's dark strength is 3,100 points. For him, the Black Minotaur is already a very terrifying boss. Xiao Jin's light strength is 5,100 points. For it, the Black Minotaur is just a small monster. Just kidding, Xiao Jin is a level 60 royal beast, much more terrifying than a level 85 lord. Xiao Jin, kill slowly, save skill points for me, Yang Tian shouted shamelessly from behind. Xiao Jin nodded in response. With its combat power, any skill can kill the Black Minotaur instantly. But now it reduces the output frequency, and it takes 2 or 3 seconds to cut it flat. Not long after, Yang Tian's damage deepened the cooling, and it was directly used on the Black Minotaur with residual blood. 180,000. The wound on the Black Minotaur that was cut by Xiao Jin instantly doubled, and the huge body split open, and blood burst out and died. The broadcast sounded, Yang Tian won the first kill, received an extremely generous reward, and got a skill point. Now, he has 25 skill points. Tisk tisk tisk, fortunately the damage deepening version has been revised, otherwise, even if Xiao Jin accommodated me, I would not be able to grab the first kill, because I can't break the defense of the Black Minotaur at all. Yang Tian smiled and felt relieved. Yang Tian clicked on the official website and found some skill fine-tuning. Many skills of each profession have percentage fine-tuning. Among them, the biggest changes are only 2 skills, elemental designation and damage deepening. Elemental designation has been weakened to a dog. In the past, elemental designation lasted for 30 seconds and had no CD. You can designate whoever you want. Now elemental designation can only last for 3 seconds, CD, 10 seconds. This weakening is very large. Of course, if it is a high-end shield warrior, if you make good use of those 3 seconds, you can also lead the team to hit an ultra-limit burst. The damage deepening, just as Yang Tian thought, was changed to double the fixed damage, not affected by dark power, magic penetration, and critical strike. For example, the LV20 damage deepening doubles the damage. The previous damage was 100 million. The damage deepening is 200 million fixed damage. Very stable. Of course, the percentage increase of the damage deepening is small. Even the LV100 damage deepening is only 10 times the fixed damage. After resolving the doubts in his heart, Yang Tian closed the web page and went forward to clean up the spoils. A level 80 gold equipment and a level 85 gold equipment, Yang Tian looked down on them, they were all garbage. In addition, a siege token was released. Yang Tian picked it up and mailed it to Huangmao. The siege order event is held every Sunday, but today is Friday. Now some large guilds are probably brushing guild tokens, right? Soon the Tauran tribe refreshed again, and in an instant, the valley was filled with tents again. Yang Tian continued to set the dark sea of fire, summoning 10 teams of undead to fight, and the experience value soared. The next day at noon. System, congratulations on your skill darkness upgrade, currently LV25. Yang Tian smiled and added a total of 25 skill points to it. System, congratulations on your skill darkness upgrade, currently LV50. The range of LV50 darkness is comparable to the Sea of Fire, making the dark resistance of all enemies within the range minus 1500 points. This is equivalent to Yang Tian's dark strength increased by 1500 points. Darkness is coming. As Yang Tian waved his hand, the boundless darkness enveloped most of the valley, like the end of the world, and the vision was dim. A group of minotaurs roared uneasily, and their dark resistance dropped to 0 in an instant. Yang Tian waved his hand again, and the black flames swept all the way, spreading to most of the valley, almost covering the entire Minotaur tribe. Every second, it can burn the Minotaur elites to more than 110,000 damage. At this rhythm, with the Dark Sea of Fire alone, it only takes 8 seconds to destroy the Tauran tribe and gain experience. Of course, Yang Tian still needs to practice his skills, so he summoned all the undead under his command and slaughtered them with all his strength. Now he doesn't worry about consuming mana at all. His MP is as high as 1.2 million, and he recovers 120,000 mana per second. What's there to be afraid of? December 3rd Sunday. At this time, Xiao Jin and the other two reached level 61, and Yang Tian soared 3 levels in a row and reached level 55. This speed is too fast, just like a rocket upgrade. Xiao Tian, I just received a challenge from Yunkai. 5 minutes to prepare. I am ready to fight at any time. You should be ready. Yang Tian was burning the Tauran tribe. He was enjoying it when he suddenly heard Huang Mao's voice. Yunkai. Liu Yun is so brave. Where does he get his confidence from? Yang Tian sneered. Although the overall strength of the angry god is not as good as that of a large guild. But in this event guild war, both sides can only send 1,000 people to fight. Could it be that the angry god does not even have 1,000 masters? This is not inferior to Yunkai. On the side of the angry god, Yang Tian and Huang Mao are in charge. What can Yunkai fight for? Who knows? He wants to use us as a knife, but he doesn't know that our knife is harder than his. Huang Mao laughed. Yang Tian said, you pull Xiaofei Longliu and others into the guild, and let them mix some experience. You know, if the guild war wins, the experience gained will double within a week. This is a very strong buff. Yang Tian naturally didn't want Xiaofei Longliu and the others to miss out. Hee, I've already pulled them in. This time, they will also fight on behalf of our angry god. Huang Mao laughed. Yang Tian rolled his eyes when he heard this. Huang Mao's ability to poach people is first class. However, he didn't care. When he created a guild in the future, he would at least take Xiaofei Longliu and the others with him. I'm ready here. Yang Tian laughed. Before leaving, he didn't take Xiao Jin and the other two with him, but told them to kill monsters and level up on the spot. Although Xianyu and Longer Alice was very fragile in the face of the Minotaur guards, Xiao Jin could handle it completely. Xiao Jin was killing, and the two of them could just stay behind to gain experience. If a Minotaur really rushed over Xiao Jin and rushed towards them, they would run away by themselves. System, Angry God welcomes Yunkai's challenge. System, you are appointed as a warrior by the president to participate in the war. System, you have discovered the desert battlefield. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 255. In a huge desert with rolling yellow sand, there are two castles, thousands of yards apart, facing each other. From the outside, The castle is extremely majestic, with a towering gate that is 10 meters tall. At the sentry point on the high platform, there are 2 cannons and crossbows pointing at the incoming enemy. What is unimaginable is that the inside of the castle is quite simple. Except for the high walls surrounding it, it is very empty. There is only a resurrection platform driven by crystal. White light flashed continuously, and 1,000 people including Huang Mao Yang appeared on the resurrection stage. As for the other castle, Lu Yun apparently also arrived with people. Huang Mao, let's go up and have a look. Yang Tian patted Huang Mao's shoulder. The two walked out of the resurrection stage and climbed up the iron ladder to the sentry point above. Steel cannon, level 50, attack radius 10 yards, 50,000 solid damage, attack frequency 1 time/second, number of bullets loaded, 100. Powerful crossbow, level 50, single target attack, 10,000 solid damage, attack frequency 10 times/second, number of arrows loaded, 1000. The so-called solid damage refers to real damage that ignores the enemy's defense. At this stage, even the top shield warriors only have more than 200,000 lives. They can withstand 5 cannons at most, but cannot withstand the 6th cannon. Of course, in the desert battlefield, players will not lose level even if they die in battle, and they can be resurrected infinitely. Cannons and crossbows, on the other hand, have limited firepower. After the bullets are fired, they become scraps. Come up, Huang Mao waved his hand and added 12 people to the sentry point, manipulating 2 cannons and 10 crossbows respectively. Brothers, rush out with me and defeat the Yunkai Guild, Huang Mao roared, jumped directly from the sentry point. With a bang, the city gate opened wide, and the angry god stepped forward and rushed out with his troops. The goal was, of course, to blow up the crystal on the opposite side. Undead transformation, vampire count. Yang Tian changed his body and flew out, soaring over the army and advancing with it. In this 1000 vs 1000 battle, Nushan still has the advantage over Yunkai, so naturally he will attack. If you are at a disadvantage, you can huddle in the castle and use cannons and crossbows to kill the invading enemies. Then, taking advantage of the opponent's tens of seconds to resurrect, the army can rush out and possibly turn defeat into victory. But the one with the upper hand will attack directly, it's a coward. Huang Mao rode a big red horse and led the army to rush halfway, but there was a war cry from the front, and the densely packed heads rushed towards them crazily. Immediately, the two armies stood facing each other 100 yards apart. Humph, you dare to attack, Lu Yun raised his cold eyes and sneered. Hearing this, Yang Tian and Huang Mao looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. He felt that the flowing clouds did not know how deep the sky was. Lu Yun, you are like a frog in a well. Do you know that I alone can defeat 1000 of you? Yang Tian sneered, and before Lu Yun could reply, he snapped his fingers and summoned 10 groups of black undead armies. Who? The undead roared, and there were bursts of metallic crackling sounds that made people's eardrums hurt. I saw the undead army attacking crazily, piercing the enemy's body with sharp claws, cutting off the enemy's head with a knife, and blood bursting out, all of which were instant kills. In an instant, Lu Yun's army lost half of its troops, and he was so angry that he was shaking all over and sweating profusely. No, it's impossible. You can summon an army of more than 700 undead at once, which will consume at least 350,000 MP. Muddy Waters, your MP is already as high as 350,000 or more. Lu Yun's face was full of horror and disbelief. A pile of blue is like a pile of blood. At this stage, even a top shield warrior only has over 200,000 MP. And Muddy Waters actually exceeds 350,000 MP? How good are his equipment and gems? But he didn't know. Yang Tian's current equipment is actually very average. His real advantage lies in the heart of the sacred tree. Just kidding, that is a divine item, something players can only hope to achieve at this stage. Lu Yun also didn't know. Yang Tian uses extreme summoning, which consumes double mana. Summoning an army of undead with more than 700 points consumes more than 700,000 mana in an instant. But so what? Yang Tian had the heart of the sacred tree and fully recovered. Why are you still standing there? Cut it off for me, Lu Yun roared angrily, dancing with the sword in his hand, and in the blink of an eye, he pierced the heads of many skeletons. Corpse explosion. Yang Tian raised his hand and snapped his fingers, boom, a deafening explosion sounded, and the front was scorched black, with corpses everywhere and almost no living things. Just as Yang Tian said, he alone defeated 1,000 Yunkai people, and he did it within 3 seconds. Quiet. The scene fell silent for a moment, deathly still. Yang Tian turned around and looked around, and found that everyone present, including Huang Mao, had their mouths wide open, dumbfounded. Some people were even drooling unbearably because of their excitement. After 3 full seconds, everyone rioted and shouted, trying their best to vent their excited emotions and express their admiration for Yang Tian. Water God v587. With one angry move, thousands of troops can rise up in the clouds. Looking at the entire Chinese war zone, who else can do it? It's unbelievable. Any skeleton monster summoned by the water god seems to have more powerful combat power than me. The water god summons hundreds or even thousands of them at every turn. Is this the legendary boss? 666, look up to the boss. The angry gods performed an exciting performance, and everyone's face was red with excitement. Their admiration for Yang Tian even surpassed their boss Huang Mao. Huang Mao was also very excited and laughed and scolded, "Damn it, I didn't expect that you would reach this level in just a dozen days, your MP, I'm afraid it has exceeded 1 million. Almost. Yang Tian smiled and didn't hide it. Their voices were very low, and only Xiaofei Longlu, Lan Yu and others in front, as well as some of the main forces of the angry gods heard it. They were shocked when they heard it. 1 million MP, this is comparable to boss. Lan Yu and Lan Mao stood together, and they stared at Yang Tian at the same time. Compared with senior brother Liu Yun, Yang Tian really didn't know how many times better he was. But because of this, they felt a great sense of distance. It was as if Yang Tian was a god, overlooking the world, and they were just ordinary people. When they thought of this, the two girls' faces darkened, especially Blue Cat. She had a good impression of Yang Tian, but now, she didn't even have the courage to go up to Yang Tian and say a few more words. Lang Ling and Huo Wu were also shocked. They could be regarded as witnessing Yang Tian's growth all the way. That guy was simply cheating all the way. Now he has reached a level that even they can only look up to. As the person involved, Yang Tian didn't know the mood of the crowd. He looked at Huang Mao and said, "Charge forward. It will take more than 50 seconds for Lu Yun and others to revive. During this time, our army will charge forward and win the victory." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 256. The yellow-haired man waved his hand, and the whole army charged forward, and soon arrived at the enemy's city gate. Before they had time to attack the city, the captain of the guard team on the high platform shouted, "Fire!" Immediately, 2 gunners and 10 crossbowmen opened fire at the same time. In the first second, 2 shells and hundreds of powerful crossbow arrows shot down. That's fixed damage. No matter how much defense you have. Directly deduct blood. 50,000. 50,000. 50,000. 10,000. 10,000. 10,000. 2 shells exploded, and the range of each shell reached 10 yards. Within this range, everyone lost 50,000 blood, and almost everyone except the warrior knight was killed. Hundreds of powerful crossbow arrows were also powerful, directly shooting the squishy players and causing serious injuries to non-squishy players. The other side's guards were still firing, and every second, countless people on the side of the God of Fury would fall. The other side had enough firepower, enough to burst out continuously for 100 seconds. Damn! In just a few seconds, hundreds of people on the side of the God of Fury fell, and this was because Yang Tian's undead army played a cover effect. Otherwise, the God of Fury would suffer even more serious losses, and Yunkai might even turn the defeat into victory. Huang Mao roared, and his fighting spirit turned into wings. He flew up, holding a musket, and rushed towards the opponent's high platform. Whirlwind slash. Huang Mao flew while dancing wildly with a musket, causing the flames to whistle in circles, forming a fire shield. Seeing him flying, the other side's city guards naturally sent archers to target him, but countless crossbows shot at him, but they were all bounced away by his fire shield, and he didn't even lose a drop of blood. Damn it, if I had known that this yellow-haired guy had fighting spirit, I should have asked for more soldiers. Whoever dares to fly up, I will suppress and kill him directly. Seeing the yellow-haired guy flapping the huge orange light wings behind him and getting closer and closer to him, the captain of the city defense team became more and more anxious and couldn't help but curse. It was the first battle of this event, and he had no experience, so it was inevitable. However, it was too late for him to regret it now. Gunner, blow up the yellow-haired guy first, the captain of the city defense team roared. Bang bang bang. The two gunners changed the direction of the muzzle, locked on the yellow-haired guy, and fired at the same time. Boom. Damn, you're looking for death. The yellow-haired guy sneered, raised his gun and fired continuously, and with two bangs, he blew up two shells. Boom boom boom. The two shells still exploded, causing the yellow-haired guy and several members of the city defense team to be affected by the damage. The yellow-haired guy lost 100,000 blood, but he was still strong. He is a knight himself, wearing a 9-piece set of level 30 Imperial armor, with more than 200,000 HP. However, several members of the other city defense team were hit by the shells. Swish. Huang Mao finally climbed onto the high platform and changed his fighting spirit into an orange bud, which was extremely gorgeous. But the fighting spirit kept cutting through the air, causing a buzzing sound, which made people dare not underestimate it at all. At this stage, who is not a great god who kills thousands of enemies? Boss, he is coming up. The remaining few city defense soldiers were terrified, as if they were scared to pee. There is a large army below, attacking the city gate. There are also powerful enemies on the high platform. They are in a dilemma. Now, the Yunkai army is completely destroyed, and the victory or defeat is in their hands. Once Yunkai loses the battle, all members will lose one level. Not only the 1,000 people who participated in the battle, but all the people in the Yunkai guild will lose one level. At that time, those members who did not participate in the battle, wouldn't they scold them as SB? However, while they were hesitating and unable to make a decision, Huang Mao had already rushed out. Huang Mao rushed to the left side of the platform, and his musket stabbed out like a dragon, killing everyone on the left in a few seconds. Sweeping the army. Huang Mao suddenly turned around, and a gun swept out, bursting out a wave of fire like a sea wave, and instantly killed everyone on the right. At this point, all the people in Yunkai were wiped out, and they were still counting down to revive in the square. They were afraid that it was too late. Haha, brothers, we won. Huang Mao stood on the enemy's platform and raised his arms and shouted. Below, the whole army roared, arousing the long-lost blood in their hearts. In the crowd, Yang Tian looked up at the glorious Huang Mao and smiled secretly. If he took action, it would naturally be the same situation. However, the God of Fury is Huang Mao's guild after all, and he is the boss. At this time, if I steal his limelight, it would be too unfair. Yellow hair. Open the city gates and let the army enter. Only when we blow up the crystal in one go can we truly win. Yang Tian flapped his wings, floated slightly in the air, and reminded the yellow hair. Yellow hair nodded, turned around and jumped off the enemy castle, and opened the city gate. Roar. The angry god sighed, accompanied by a surging war cry, rushed into the enemy's position and arrived at the square, where there was a huge crystal 3 meters long, shining brightly. Focus fire, blow it up for me. Huang Mao waved his hand, and the whole army focused fire. In an instant, countless swords and shadows, magic arrows flew wildly. It took a few seconds to finally blow up the crystal. System, congratulations to the angry god for winning the desert battlefield. All members of the angry god will add 100% experience in 1 week. System, unfortunately, Yunkai lost the desert battlefield. All members of Yunkai will be reduced by 1 level. All members of the 2 guilds heard the corresponding system prompts. One side was excited. The other side was dejected and accompanied by countless shouts and curses, and those shouts and curses were naturally the peripheral members who did not sign the contract. Some of them even quit the Yunkai guild directly after a few curses. This immediately made Liu Yun pale. After the war, everyone automatically teleported out of the desert battlefield, and teleported to where they were before. Damn Han Shui! If it weren't for him, how could I lose? After Liu Yun was defeated, he couldn't vent his anger, and he couldn't help but roared continuously, which made all the main forces shudder. Yang Tian was indeed too strong. His combat power alone was very strong, and he could also summon an army of more than 700 undead at a time. The combat power of the undead army was also extremely strong, but it was a little fragile. But if you take the initiative, you can kill hundreds of people in an instant. How to fight? Hey, Han Shui is too abnormal, he summoned hundreds of undead at once. If it were another Necromancer, first, there wouldn't be that many undead. Second, even if there were, they could only summon them in groups. Yeah, he summoned a large army of undead at once, killed half of us first, and then killed them all with a corpse explosion. How can this be played? The main members were so scared that their faces turned pale when they recalled Yang Tian's previous abnormal combat power. Don't worry, there are only evil people to deal with. Since Han Shui has joined the God of Fury will definitely be targeted by other large guilds. At that time, he will be demoted, no matter how strong he is, no matter how abnormal his potential is, he is destined to die in the womb. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 257. Not necessarily. This is the first time I've been challenged, so I can't refuse. I can refuse next time. Well, if Zeus or Shenhua Aoshi challenged the God of Wrath, do you think Huang Mao Han Shui would accept the challenge? It's hard to say. 1000 vs 1000, even the advantages of the giant guild cannot be fully utilized. Now that Han Shui is so abnormal, his heart will naturally swell. Maybe he will accept the challenge. The main players of Yunkai were talking about it. At this time, they received another system prompt. It turned out that the God of Wrath used the siege token to challenge them again. Before, they took the initiative to challenge the God of Wrath. Now, it was the God of Wrath who took the initiative to challenge them. This is different. Today, they were also challenged for the first time, and they couldn't refuse. They are bullying too much. They want us to drop 2 levels in a row, everyone roared in an instant, and some people were pale. Now they are all above level 50. On this basis, it will take at least 2 days to upgrade to the next level. Dropping 2 levels in a row will make their 4 days of hard work disappear like clouds. System, player Winter Sun, quit the guild. System, player Michuan Niaku, quit the guild. System, player Mingri Xingguang, quit the guild. In just 1 or 2 minutes, Yunkai, a LV10 guild with 10,000 people, had thousands of people quit in an instant. Generally, a large guild would only sign 1,000 or 2,000 people at most. After all, it would have to pay more than 10 million in salary every month. They couldn't afford to sign more, so they could only recruit peripheral players. And peripheral players, without the constraints of contracts, would naturally quit if they were unhappy. At this moment, Yunkai suffered heavy losses. In the current guilds that are full of LV10 and 10,000 people, they have become a second-rate guild. It took Liu Yun several years to build up its foundation, but it declined so quickly. You know, when the siege order activity was launched, many guilds, except for the giant guilds, were extremely hesitant. If they lose consecutively, not only will some people quit, but more importantly, as long as this activity is still going on, it will become extremely difficult for them to recruit people to expand their power in the future. Han Shui, I really want to kill him. Liu Yun's eyes were red. It was not easy for him to have such a status, and he couldn't afford to lose at all. However, now he had to accept the challenge no matter what, because it was the first time that day that he couldn't refuse. Desert battlefield. Haha, Huang Mao, you are too mean. You want all the members of Yunkai to drop 2 levels in a row. Yang Tian laughed. Humph, he asked for it. He dared to challenge me, so he should pay the price, Huang Mao said coldly. Yang Tian smiled and said nothing more, turned to look at Lan Yu, walked over and whispered, we have already bullied senior brother Liu Yun, you won't blame us, right? Lan Yu shook her head and said, victory and defeat are common in the military. Besides, he is him, I am me, his defeat has nothing to do with me. Lan Yu's face was indifferent, and when she mentioned senior brother Liu Yun again, her heart seemed to have no fluctuations. Yang Tian nodded secretly, thinking that Lan Yu had already let go of Liu Yun in her heart. He would not walk with Lan Yu, but they were just friends, and he did not want Lan Yu to be taken down by Liu Yun. Soon, Huang Mao had already called 100 people to go up to the high platform to guard the castle. After the last war, everyone knew that defense was also very important. Among the 100 people Huang Mao called, 12 of them operated cannons and crossbows, and all the others were all mages and archers. If the enemy came to the city, they could focus their fire on them. Let's go, Huang Mao waved his hand and opened the city gate. The army rushed out with a roar. Halfway through the journey, they found that no one from Yunkai went out to fight. It was not until they arrived at the foot of Yunkai city that they found that they were defending with all their strength. On the high platform, there were 500 ranged professions. Under the city gate, there were 500 melee professions, guarding the city gate. Brothers, hold on. As long as we hold on for one wave, we have a chance to turn the tables. Liu Yun's eyes were red, and he yelled, attention shooters, all aim at Muddy Water, take him down first. Boom boom. Puff puff puff. As soon as Liu Yun finished speaking, the shooters on the high platform all focused their fire and attacked, shooting at Yang Tian. Iron Wall. All the shield warriors in the front row of the God of Fury raised their shields and blasted out at the same time. In an instant, their giant shields became n times larger, and they were closely connected one by one, comparable to an iron wall. The opponent's shooters focused their fire and blasted on the iron wall. The iron wall did not move at all. Only those cannons and crossbows, which were fixed damage, caused the shield warriors to lose blood. But the shield warriors had extremely high health, and after taking a wave, no one fell down. Extreme summoning. Yang Tian stretched out his hand and snapped his fingers, and saw 10 huge summoning arrays appear in front of the opponent's city gate, and then countless undead appeared. Yang Tian exploded with a bang, not only killing most of Yunkai's soldiers, but also blowing up the huge city gate. Accompanied by billowing smoke, the city gate broke into pieces, turning into pieces of debris, falling to the ground. At this moment, on the high platform, Liu Yun and others were collectively dumbfounded. This is possible? On the other side, Huang Mao was ecstatic, waving his hands and shouting, "Brothers, rush in! Roar!" The army roared and rushed in through the wide open city gate. Liu Yun and others were even more dumbfounded. You know, 2 cannons and 10 crossbows are fixed on the city wall. They can only slightly change the direction of attack, but cannot go backwards. That is to say, after the angry gods rushed into the castle, all the cannons and crossbows were ineffective and became waste. Brothers, kill! All the angry gods automatically divided into 2 teams, one attacking the crystal, and the other climbing up the iron ladder on the city wall. Yang Tian Huangmao directly spread his wings and flew to the enemy's high platform. One was at the top of the city and the other was at the end of the city, slaughtering crazily. Kill! Liu Yun roared with red eyes, led the team to rush towards Yang Tian, and the archers concentrated their fire crazily. Yang Tian flew into the air, various flashing skills, and added a bone shield to himself, a bone shield with 4.5 million health. Dark Sea of Fire. The black raging fire swept across the entire high platform. 89,021. 83,011. 92,010. The Sea of Fire burned the opponent's squishy body, causing 80,000 to 90,000 damage, and killed countless squishy in an instant. The Sea of Fire killed people in an instant. This is simply unimaginable. However, Yang Tian has not used the darkness coming, otherwise, the burn of the Dark Sea of Fire would be unknown. In just 1 second, 99% of the Yunkai members on the high platform were killed, and only a few people such as Liu Yun remained strong. You are cheating. How can the Sea of Fire have such high damage? Liu Yun had disheveled hair and had lost his mind. He couldn't beat others, but he actually scolded others for cheating. In fact, Taixu didn't cheat at all. If there was any, it was that Yang Tian had 5 years of experience in his previous life, and it was a god-level experience. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 258. Yellow Hair and the member of the God of Wrath who climbed onto the platform looked at the burns that were exploding and felt horrified. You know, the Sea of Fire only has 1% of its output. If the Sea of Fire can kill people in seconds, it must have such a terrifying attribute. Tisk tisk, fortunately the God of Water and the yellow-haired boss are brothers. If they were enemies, it would be too scary. The members of the God of Wrath sighed in their hearts and looked at Yang Tian with infinite yearning. The God of Water is the real great God. Cheating? You can only say such things, which only means that you are a frog in the well. Yang Tian sneered, transformed into a netherworld assassin, pierced Liu Yun's lower abdomen with a sword, and blood gushed out from his back. Not long after, the God of Wrath blew up Yunkai's crystal and defeated Yunkai again. There is no reward for winning streak, and the experience gained by all members of the God of Wrath is still doubled within a week. However, Yunkai lost streak, and the punishment was superimposed, and all members dropped 2 levels in a row. Tauren Tribe. After the war, Yang Tian teleported over and formed a team with Xiao Jin and the other 2 to burn the Tauren Tribe again and level up like crazy. This time, he got double the experience. It's a pity that NPCs can't join the player guild, otherwise it would be great if Xiao Jin and the others could also get an experience buff. Yang Tian laughed, thinking that his idea was too naive. After all, that was impossible. In the next day, the God of Fury received more than 10 challenges, all from first-rate and second-rate guilds. It had been a month and a half since the last time the God of Fury fought the God of Demon. Many guilds, including some small guilds, have been upgraded to LV10. The current guild system only has a level cap of LV10. In other words, a LV10 guild is a full-level guild with a full membership of 10,000 people. Of course, although many small guilds are already full-level guilds, it is difficult to be full. After all, it is quite difficult for small guilds to recruit people. At present, the God of Wrath is not well known, and many people regard it as a third or fifth-rate guild, which is why it is challenged by those large guilds. Huangmao naturally accepted the challenge. Although there is no extra reward for winning streak, it can sharpen the combat effectiveness of guild members, and can also improve morale and gather fighting spirit. You know, if a guild has 10,000 people, all of them have a sense of collective honor, and they all prosper together, then it will definitely be a giant guild in the future. Yang Tian also participated in the war, but he rarely took action. This is his own idea and Huangmao's request. Because he is not a member of the God of Wrath after all, he will leave sooner or later and create his own guild. It's just that he and Huangmao wear the same pants, like brothers, and fight in friendship. Now his combat effectiveness is too strong. At this stage, he is almost the best of the crowd. When he goes to battle, he basically crushes the opponent, and in the long run, the members of the God of Wrath will become dependent on him. If he leaves, Huangmao will find that he has raised a group of idiots. Neither he nor Huangmao want to see that situation. Therefore, he rarely went to battle, and let Huangmao lead the angry god to fight. Only once, when the angry god was attacked to his lair and almost lost, he took action and led the angry god to fight back strongly and win. One day passed quickly, and the event ended. The next one would be the next Sunday. Many people were still reluctant to leave. Yang Tian began to level up with all his strength. He had to reach level 60 as soon as possible to expand his advantage. He still burned the Turan tribe, but in terms of team formation, he adjusted the experience distribution. Xiaojin and the other two each had 1%, while he had 97%. 5 days passed in a flash, and Yang Tian reached level 60, while Xiaojin and the other two were still level 61. At this stage, many people have already reached level 62, after all, many people have doubled their experience. After all, Yang Tian's leveling difficulty is 10 times, and it is not easy to catch up with the level by leveling up 5 times in just 5 days. At this time, he put 10 level 50 high-level dark gems on the auction house and exchanged them for 10 level 60 high-level dark gems. Muddy Water, ID. Level 60. HP, 120,000. MP, 1.2 million, recovers 120,000 mana per second. Asterisk magic attack, 150,000. Dark power 3,400. Dark resistance 6,200, light, fire and ice resistance 1,500. Armor penetration 500. Steel protection 650, magic protection 600. Absolute critical strike damage, 280%. Skill points, 0. The later the stage, the higher the player's attributes. The 5 attributes added by upgrading, as well as the free attribute points, have little effect. Even though Yang Tian has a spiritual bloodline, each upgrade increases the 5 attributes by 30 points. However, his 5 attributes are already very terrifying, and he hardly cares about this little improvement. Only the update of high-end equipment can significantly improve the attributes. Now that he has reached level 60 and changed a set of gems, the dark strength has increased by only 300 points and the dark resistance has increased by 600 points, which is average. After all, high-level gems are only gold quality. He is wearing a set of royal equipment and has updated gold gems. If there is a huge improvement, it would be strange. Fortunately, my current attributes have an absolute advantage over the players. The only drawback is that I don't have fighting spirit Yang Tian's side. In the early stage, there was no fighting spirit, which was his biggest drawback. As time goes by, more and more people will have Dochi. Those top gods can even have full level Dochi, which can increase damage by 8 times and reduce damage by 8 times. That is quite terrifying. Therefore, Yang Tian can only maintain his advantage and balance those top gods by leading Yao Yao in equipment gems. Xiao Fei, how are the 4 level 60 copies now? Yang Tian asked. He has been upgrading with all his strength these days and rarely hears about what is happening outside the window. There are still 4 hell first kills left, Xiao Fei said. Everything seems to have returned to the starting point. The Goblin's royal equipment set, except for the God's left hand, which is a level 40 set, all others are only level 30 sets. The level 30 royal equipment set is enough to make people rampant to level 50. But now at level 60, the attributes of those masters can no longer suppress the big boss. Did you set up the Dragon Empire teleportation array? Yang Tian asked. The giant guild can't take it, but he can. To be precise, it should be Xiao Jin who can take it. Xiao Jin is a level 61 royal beast, and its basic attributes are very powerful. Moreover, it has a set of 9 level 30 royal weapons and a set of 10 gems, which is a huge advantage. Okay, you notify Long Lu, and we will go to brush it first. Let's brush Royal Bee Nest first, Yang Tian said, taking out the Dragon Empire teleportation array and teleporting to the mirror door of the copy of the Royal Bee Nest. Not long after, white light flashed, and Xiao Fei Long Lu teleported over. Yang Tian used the Eye of Truth to take a look at Long Lu and found that his double guard had broken the 2000 mark. You know, even Xiao Jin's double guard is only 3100 points. Haha, it's okay, Long Lu, in the later stage, you will be our chief tank, Yang Tian laughed. He could probably tell that Long Lu's guarding skills had reached LV 30 or above. At least 600 points of double guarding were added, plus the 10th level of the Heart of the Earth, a total of 500 points of double guarding, which is 1100 points of double guarding. This is basic protection, comparable to a boss. Ordinary players don't even think about it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 259. The Shield Warrior Knight's Guard skill is a passive skill. Carrying monsters increases proficiency. Generally, these skills can be upgraded very quickly. And those skills with CDs are very slow to upgrade. Even for commonly used skills, at this stage, high-end players can practice CD skills up to level 25 without using skill points. Long Lu, what level is your guardianship at? How many skill points do you have left? Yang Tian asked. All his skill points have been added to darkness. The LV50 darkness reduces the dark resistance by 1500 points, which is quite cool. LV38 Guardian, I still have 9 skill points, Long Lu said with a smile. So high, Yang Tian was startled. Long Lu shook his head and said, this is nothing to me. As far as I know, the protection of top tanks such as Tumbler, Zhizan's Hizzy, and others has exceeded LV50. Yang Tian nodded secretly. This kind of skill without CD can be upgraded very quickly. Just like the Bone Shield, he almost didn't use it before, and he easily rose to LV30. They must have used their skill points. From the actual situation, you are no worse than them, Yang Tian said with a smile. You know, if the shield warrior has skill points, he will definitely add protection. Long Lu, we have Xiao Jin. It's not time for you to show off your power yet. You can save your skill points for now, Yang Tian said. Skill upgrading also becomes more difficult the further you go. For example, before Yang Tian was at LV25 Darkness Falls, a month later it might be at LV35. If you use skill points again, it will be LV60. But now, when Yang Tian uses his skill points, Darkness has fallen at LV 50, and a month later, he will reach LV 55. This is the difference. Therefore, the longer the skill points are held in until the end, the better the effect will be. Of course, if you use it before, you can increase your advantage. Maybe get a few more first kills. Pros and cons. However, now under the halo of Xiaojian, Long Lu seems to be eclipsed, so there is no need to show off his strength and hold back his skill points until the later stage, and he will naturally become a blockbuster. Yeah, I know. Long Lu nodded muffledly. Yang Tian patted his shoulder and said with a smile, "Thank you for your hard work." Long Lu grinned, "It's not hard. System, you discovered the queen bee nest and gained 14,000 experience points." Yang Tian took Xiaofei Long Lu into the dungeon. The ordinary level dungeon of the royal bee's nest only had 2 levels. The first level is like a huge beehive. The fragrance of honey is extremely rich and refreshing. However, inside the hive, there are still countless bumblebees half as tall as a man, vibrating their wings and making a harsh buzzing sound. As its name suggests, the bumblebee has yellow skin and its 2 forelimbs are giant white needles half a meter long. They are extremely sharp and can pierce a person's body with just one sting. And behind the butt, there is also a giant purple needle, which seems to be highly poisonous and sharper. Bumblebee, Advanced Monster. Level 60. HP 55,000. Basic Physical Attack, 6,500. No Attribute Attack. Fire Resistance 0, Light and Dark Ice Resistance 200. Armor Break 200. Double Guard 200. Skills, Power Attack, Poison Needle. Passive, Double Needle Attack. Chi Chi Chi. As soon as Yang Tian and the others invaded the queen bee nest, the hornets raised their butts and shot out their tail needles. For a moment, countless poisonous needles were shot at the 3 of them, and black steel shields bounced off. Among the 3, Long Lu has the highest defense. After all, his dual guardians have exceeded the 2000 mark and can reduce the damage of the hornet more than 10 times. Even if Bumblebee uses the poisonous needle skill, he can't break through his defense and can only forcefully shoot out 1 point of life. However, he was poisoned and lost 300 blood points every second. Yang Tian's steel guard only has 600 points, which reduces the damage of the hornet by 5 times, making the hornet's poisonous stinger only have about 13,000 combat power. You know, Yang Tian also has half of the imperial weapon and heavy armor, and his basic physical defense exceeds 20,000. The hornet's poisonous sting was also unable to break through his defense, and 1 point of damage was densely scattered on the top of his head. Xiaofei still has a 9-piece set of level 30 imperial weapons, with 600 points of steel protection, which is equivalent to Yang Tian. But after all, he had a set of armor-piercing weapons, and his basic defense was not enough. Those poisonous needles could inflict more than 1000 points of damage on him. After he withstood a wave, he fell to the ground and died. Xiaofei is level 61 and has a 9-piece set of level 30 royal weapons, but he can't handle the level 60 mobs. This is enough to prove that at this stage, the advantages of the 9-piece set of level 30 imperial weapons basically no longer exist. As for those 9-piece sets of level 30 royal weapons and 9-piece sets of level 30 gold items, they are simply scraps. Xiaofei died in battle, but Yang Tian didn't take it seriously. After all, if you die in battle in the dungeon, you won't lose level. It's a pity that bumblebees can fly, otherwise I could plunge into the sea of dark fire and burn them all in just 1 second. Yang Tian secretly sighed. His sea of fire can burn level 80 elite monsters, let alone level 60 high-level monsters. However, the scope of the sea of fire is very large, with a height of only half a meter, which can barely cover the knees of an adult. Bumblebees can fly and will basically not be burned by the sea of fire. Extreme call. Yang Tian still summoned 10 groups of undead to fight against the hornet swarm. Sometimes, flying monsters that lack long-range output are not scary. For example, bumblebees only have a long-range output, the poison needle. After the tail needle is shot out, it takes 5 seconds to grow back behind their buttocks. In other words, the CD of the poison needle is 5 seconds. During the CD period, they have to dive down and fight the enemy in close combat. At this time, the undead army under Yang Tian began to kill them in seconds. Yang Tian led the team and quickly crushed the first level of Emperor Bee Nest ordinary level. He and Long Lu were both in the poison state, losing 300 blood points per second. If they are not solved, they will exist forever. Of course, the advanced life cake of level 60 can restore 2000 life points per second and can be fully recovered. Yang Tian waved his hand and summoned Xiaojian, Xianyuan Long and Alice. Alice, what level of purification is yours? Yang Tian asked. This poison state is very troublesome. Although it does not lose much blood per second, it will exist forever if it is not solved. It is better to solve it. LV20 Alice replied, and raised the staff in her hand, and a holy light popped out, just in time to remove Yang Tianlongliu's LV20 poisoning state. Yang Tian immediately took out some empty bottles and distributed them to everyone, saying, "Everyone collect honey, that is a high-level mana recovery medicine. Level 60 high-level energy cake, restore 2000 MP per second. Honey is also level 60, restore 5000 MP per second, the effect is very good. Yang Tian has the heart of the sacred tree, of course he doesn't need honey, but he can collect it and sell it, and it can be sold at a high price at this stage." After a few minutes, everyone finished collecting, and Yang Tian led the team to the boss level. It was just a level 60 ordinary copy, even if it was a boss, it was only a level 65 elite boss. In that beehive, there was only one bumblebee, it was about 1 person tall, with black and yellow skin, whether it was the double needles on the forelimbs or the tail needle behind the buttocks, they were sharper. Super God Undead Lord. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 260. Captain Hornet, Elite Boss. Level 65. HP, 500,000. Basic Physical Attack, 20,000. No Attribute Attack. Fire Resistance 0, Light, Darkness and Ice 1000. Armor Break 500. Double Guard 300. Skills, Power Attack, Poison Needle. Passive, Double Needle Attack. Captain Hornet looked extremely powerful. As soon as Yang Tian and others invaded, it swooped in and shot out the poisonous needles from its tail. At this time, new poisonous needles sprouted from the back of its butt. In other words, its poisonous needle has no CD. Iron Wall. Long Lu raised his shield and pushed it out horizontally. The giant shield in his hand grew n times in size in an instant, blocking the poisonous needle shot by Captain Hornet. Yang Tian raised his hand and fired a bone spear through the iron wall, and shot it at Captain Bumblebee, easily piercing him and killing him instantly. Nowadays, Yang Tian's damage is off the charts, and even a level 80 elite Tauren is an instant kill, not to mention this mere level 65 elite. To put it bluntly, this ordinary level dungeon is facing the majority of low-end players. Yang Tian mainly plays Hell level, and now it is just to open the challenge permission. After crushing the ordinary level, Yang Tian led the team to withdraw and kick Xiao Fei out of the team. Xiao Fei is already level 61. He has a limit on the number of challenges he can take every day, and he must be given a chance to get the first kill. Yang Tianlong's 6 games were all at level 60. He continued to advance, and successively won the difficult level, expert level, and soon came to the nightmare level boss level. In that hive, there is a killer bee. Killer Bee and Captain Bumblebee are about the same size, both as tall as one person. But the killer bees are even more powerful. The 3 needles are all black, shiny, and reflective, making them appear extremely hard and full of destructive power. Killer Bee, King Beast. Level 65. HP, 12 million. Basic physical attack, 120,000. No attribute attack. Fire resistance 1000, light and dark ice resistance 3000. Armor break 2000. Double guard 1000. Skills, power attack, poison needle, 1000 needle slaughter, stab. Passive, earthquake, double needle attack. Yang Tian put a bone shield on himself, strode forward, and at the same time used extreme summoning to summon 10 groups of black undead armies around him. As long as the killer bees dare to come down, they will be crushed to death by corpse explosion. Bone Spear. 350-0000. Yang Tian hit the target with one move, causing Killer Bee's blood tank to drop suddenly by 1 level. Damn humans, Killer Bee roared angrily, stabbed with both arms, and shot out countless needles in an instant, raining down angrily towards Yang Tian and the undead army. Bang bang bang. Yang Tian received countless injections on his body, and his bone shield became damaged, but he didn't lose a drop of blood. On the contrary, half of the undead army was wiped out by a wild sweep of killer bees. Watch me pierce your body, the killer bee flew out. Its speed was so fast that it broke through the air and pulled out a white wave behind it, which looked extremely windy. Thrust. However, just as it arrived in front of Yang Tian decisively snapped his fingers, the corpse exploded. Boom. The remaining more than 300 undead suddenly jumped out and exploded. A total of more than 40 million damage was dealt, and the damage overflowed, killing the killer bee into pieces. And this was the result of the previous destruction of half of the undead army in Yang Tian. Otherwise, the power will be doubled. You know, the current skills of LV-2030 are only more than 10 times, and the percentage of ultimate skills that can kill them is 20 times. As for corpse explosion, as long as the number of undead is enough, it can easily cause hundreds of times of damage. The explosive power of corpse explosion is too strong, far beyond the comparison of ordinary skills. Of course, for ordinary necromancers, their main pile of armor penetration, critical strikes, and dark power all depend on the output of their undead army. The necromancer himself does almost no damage due to his low base magic attack. In other words, no matter how high the percentage of corpse explosion is, it is difficult for ordinary necromancers to deal such horrific damage. As for Yang Tian, he has all-round development and his own output is also quite high. His basic magic attack is as high as 150,000 plus, which is several times higher than the current great gods. It is comparable to the same level of imperial beasts. There is no way, he is the master of the undead, and if he wants to play the undead transformation well, he must have output. Only he, and other undead masters, can fully unleash the power of corpse explosion. In addition to the corpse explosion, Yang Tian also suffered increased damage. After the current version revision, the damage has deepened and has become doubled. No matter how many corpses explode, the damage will be amplified and the damage will be doubled. Nowadays, Yang Tian possesses these two ace skills that are far beyond ordinary people. Of course, corpse explosion is the necromancer's trump card skill. But necromancers rely entirely on undead output. If they want to use corpse explosion, they must hesitate again and again. Because the corpse explosion is equivalent to sacrificing all the undead under his command, thus causing damage. And without the undead, what is a necromancer? Yang Tian is different. Even though there are no undead, he still possesses very terrifying combat power. This is the real secret of Yang Tian. There are almost no flaws in his body. No matter how you look at it, it can only be described in one word, that is, strong. System, congratulations to your team for clearing the Royal Bee's Nest, Nightmare level. You have opened the Hell level challenge authority. As the system prompts rang in his ears, Yang Tianlongliu cleaned up the loot and then exited the dungeon. At this time, Huang Mao and others, Lan Yu and others also came. Yang Tian regrouped, still with the 15 people from last time. Huang Mao, do you have the challenge authority of hell? The leader will give it to you, you can make a title. Yang Tian asked. He wanted Huang Mao to also make a title of royal commander. Huang Mao is a knight, with 2000 points of strength and stamina, which is a very powerful attribute. In addition, a large group of 501 people can be formed. No, I haven't challenged the dungeon recently. Huang Mao smiled bitterly. Yang Tian nodded, said no more, and led the group to crush the nightmare difficulty again. All the people in the group opened the hell difficulty of Royal Bee Nest. After quitting, Yang Tian handed over the position of leader to Huang Mao. Huang Mao led the group into the dungeon. In the hell level dungeon, the beehive has become many times larger. In the first level alone, there are countless bumblebees and bumblebee captains. All wasps have a hellfire symbol on their foreheads, which is a sign of strengthening. Strengthened bumblebees are comparable to elites. Strengthened bumblebee captains are comparable to leaders. If the big group of Mythaoshi comes over, although they will not be wiped out, the squishy ones will definitely be wiped out after a wave of poison needles from the wasps. You know, even Xiao Fei can't withstand the poison needles of ordinary wasps, let alone the strengthened wasps. Speaking of which, in the big group of Mythaoshi, how many people can really surpass Xiao Fei in terms of equipment and technology? At most, there are no more than 10 people. Chi. In the first level of hell, the number of wasps has increased and has been strengthened. When they found that Yang Tian and others had invaded, they immediately rushed over and surrounded everyone in a four-sided formation. Immediately, they raised their butts, shot poison needles, and intensively shot at everyone.